But immediately, that shadowy light vanished as if it had never existed. Whether it was the appearance or disappearance of the shadowy light, in reality, Qing Shui saw nothing. However, in that fleeting moment, a chilling sensation ran through him, causing every hair on his body to stand on end. His mind trembled violently. This feeling, even when he encountered his former master by Fan, had never occurred before. Yet, deep in his subconscious, there was a vague sense of familiarity, as though he had experienced it before. This contradiction left Qing Shui unable to understand the true cause behind it. His expression darkened, his eyes flashing with a cold light, showing no sign of relaxation. He stared ahead without speaking. Inside, his mind raced, trying to sift through his memories, searching for the true answer to the confusion that plagued him. Luo Chen laughed heartily as he was forced back by the God Layer seal. The spikes on his right hand's weapon shattered into large fragments. Despite the damage, his demeanor remained invigorated, and his gaze toward Wang Lin carried a look of appreciation. After the impact, Wang Lin also stepped back. The God Layer spear in his hand was nearly transparent as he retreated with it. Though his expression remained unchanged, his mind was in turmoil. In that brief moment, Wang Lin clearly felt the Tian and Aishu, which had remained dormant and unchanged for so long inside him, suddenly activate, vibrating fiercely. Such an occurrence was incredibly rare. Moreover, in that instant, a strange power emanated from the Tian and Aishu and flowed through Wang Lin's entire body. His eyes momentarily flickered with a barely perceptible blue glow. As he continued to retreat, Wang Lin casually swept his gaze over the vast flickering net. Within his mind, it felt as though millions of explosions were happening simultaneously. He saw the shadowy light beneath the net, which even Qing Shui could not perceive. The ruthlessness radiating from that shadowy light, as it met Wang Lin's eyes, felt like swallowing a 1,000-year-old block of ice. His body, inside and out, was filled with cold. The two shadowy lights seemed to notice Wang Lin's gaze and revealed a trace of surprise before slowly vanishing. "What is this?" Wang Lin muttered, retreating, his mind shaken. He immediately recognized the look on Qing Shui's face. Qing Shui had undoubtedly sensed it as well. At this moment, Luo Chen let out another hearty laugh and stepped forward once more. He raised his right hand, and with a firm grasp, the 5 star-like marks on his forehead began to spin rapidly. In an instant, these marks shifted, following his arm and landing on his fist. With this punch, the 5 star points on his fist began to rotate, creating a vortex, which quickly turned into a storm as Luo Chen's fist approached. Luo Chen seems unaware of anything unusual. He's a 5-star ancient god and still hasn't noticed. But Qing Shui has sensed something. The two shadowy lights beneath the flickering net had made Wang Lin extremely cautious. As Luo Chen's right fist swept toward him, Wang Lin immediately struck the air in front of him with both hands, releasing the power of the 4-star royal ancient god, using it to change his direction and retreat far from the net. I can sense it because of the mysterious power emanating from the Tian and Aishu. Qing Shui must have his own secret, which allowed him to detect it. But what exactly is hidden in this void? Wang Lin thought to himself. As the two of them engaged in their clash, the sounds of booming fists and palms filled the air, echoing like thunder. The ancient god star points contained within Luo Chen's fist created a massive gravitational force, pulling Wang Lin's body toward it. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, and the 4 ancient god star points in his forehead spun rapidly, merging into his right hand in a flash of lightning. He thrust forward with a punch toward Luo Chen's incoming attack. If the battlefield were in the vastness of space, the battle between these two ancient gods would have caused the collapse of the heavens. But here, it was unaffected. With each explosion, Wang Lin's body was forced to retreat but broke free from the vortex pulling him in. Luo Chen took a step back, his body closing the distance to Wang Lin's. He swung both fists, and suddenly, countless vicious bone spikes appeared around him, sharp as arrows. Filled with ancient god power, they shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's right hand, holding the god layer spear, swung in response, without hesitation. He spoke the ancient god tongue. Primordial reversion power, borrow from the ancestral god might. At the moment those words left his mouth, a massive circular vortex appeared before Wang Lin, absorbing all the bone spikes. As the vortex formed, a deafening roar reverberated through the air. For the first time, Luo Chen's eyes flashed with excitement. He laughed heartily and said, "Only those of the royal ancient god lineage can wield the power of primordial reversion. It's been a long time since I've seen it." As he spoke, his body came to a halt in the void. With a circular motion of his hands before him, a faint ancient god star mark appeared above his head. One by one, more star marks began to emerge, forming a ring around Luo Chen's outstretched arms. 5 of the marks emitted a soft glow, and as they rotated, an object shot out from within the ring. Ancient God Beast Spirit. Luo Chen gave a low shout as the object flashed with radiant light and transformed into a colossal elephant. This elephant was pitch black, its long bristles hanging in wild disorder, giving it a savage and ferocious appearance. Its 2 ivory tusks gleamed with a bone-white, chilling radiance, and its coarse trunk swung like an enormous arm. As the beast reared up and let out a deafening roar to the sky, it suddenly stomped downward with tremendous force. A thunderous rumble echoed out instantly, and a savage, untamed aura burst forth violently from within the giant elephant's body, radiating in all directions. The ancient god clan possessed not only earth-shattering divine strength but also unmatched divine arts. This beast's spirit art was one of the most formidable among those arts, an ability that only a 5-star ancient god could unleash, and even then, only after prolonged rituals and refinement. Almost every mature ancient god possessed this technique. In fact, it was essentially the first task of adulthood, to find and refine one's own beast spirit. 2C had one as well. Back in the land of the ancient gods, the beast that transformed into a boundless sea of mist and fought Luo Chen to prevent him from obtaining the memory inheritance, that was 2C's beast spirit. Now, as Luo Chen activated his beast spirit art, the moment the colossal elephant charged forward, the vortex conjured before Wang Lin, drawn by ancestral power, suddenly shifted. From within the swirling energy, a massive fist burst forth just as the elephant arrived. The skin of the fist was greenish-blue. It slammed forward and collided directly with the giant elephant. Boom. The resulting explosion was unimaginable. It became a storm that seemed to bridge heaven and earth, ripping across the void in all directions. The colossal elephant let out a furious roar as its enormous body was flung backward. One of its ivory tusks snapped in half with a loud crack and crumbled into fragments. Luo Chen was forced to retreat as well, though his eyes now glowed with even greater admiration. Wang Lin spat out a mouthful of blood, retreating quickly to avoid the shockwaves, which swept through the void, revealing a massive flickering net. "You are worthy of becoming an ancient god," Luo Chen said slowly, eyes fixed on Wang Lin in the distance. Just as he spoke, the nearby moon-gazing beast suddenly let out a roar, its eyes flashing with a strange, demonic light. Luo Chen's body trembled violently, and struggle filled his eyes. Veins bulged all over his body as he trembled, face contorted in fury. He whipped around and roared at the beast, "Foul creature! Cease your interference!" The moon-gazing beast's gaze grew colder, and its roar intensified, now laced with a willpower that made Luo Chen quiver in pain, his expression twisted in agony. But at that moment, a sudden, earth-shattering change occurred. In the space surrounding the moon-gazing beast, a massive net-like formation abruptly materialized. Within that flickering net, the previously vanished shadow radiance flared back to life. Qin Shui, who had been silently watching everything, narrowed his eyes as they flashed with a sharp gleam. His expression darkened as he focused on the net around the moon-gazing beast. Wang Lin also saw it, and his pupils constricted. Luo Chen sensed that something was off as well. The moon-gazing beast's massive body suddenly shuddered, its roar cut short. In its eyes, fear and confusion began to alternate. It bolted, attempting to flee. But just then, the flickering net in the void closest to the beast suddenly tore open. The rupture spread like wildfire, revealing a vast, gaping void. It was as if the absolute void formation in the surrounding space had been ripped open. From within the fissure, 2 beams of shadow radiance erupted. As they shot forth, Wang Lin, Qin Shui, and Luo Chen all trembled simultaneously. "Master!" Qin Shui cried out in disbelief. "Luo Chen!" Wang Lin gasped, his scalp tingling as he instinctively prepared to flee. "Ancestor!" Luo Chen stared blankly at what emerged from the rift, stunned. Each of them saw something different. But from the fissure beside the moon-gazing beast, a torrent of multicolored energy surged forth. Thick and dense, it wrapped around the beast's massive form in an instant and yanked it violently toward the rift. The beast roared and thrashed, but its struggles quickly weakened as if all its strength had vanished in an instant. Powerless, it was dragged deeper into the rift. As it disappeared, the fissure began to expand even faster. At this moment, not only did the moon-gazing beast's roar lose its effect, but even Elder Amu and Wu Dongchan, who were within its body, were shocked. The two had been dashing forward, but immediately sensed the rapid spread of multicolored energy inside the beast. In an instant, their entire bodies began hemorrhaging primordial energy at an alarming rate. From the rift in the void above, a massive surge of multicolored mist erupted again, splitting into 3 distinct streams and racing toward Wang Lin, Luo Chen, and Qing Shui. The incoming punch erupted with a deafening boom, far fiercer than any blow exchanged during the earlier battle with Wang Lin. Accompanying it, a phantom colossal elephant spirit burst forth, roaring as it transformed into a streak of black light that coiled around Luo Chen's right fist. The instant his punch landed, the elephant's roar echoed through the air, and the phantom beast materialized from the wind of his strike, charging straight into the oncoming multicolored energy. With an earth-shattering bang, the impact rippled out in a thunderous shockwave. Though the multicolored energy was pushed back slightly, it surged forward with even greater speed and swallowed the retreating elephant in an instant. As the multicolored energy surged toward Qin Shui, his left eye flashed coldly. Instead of retreating, he raised his right hand and tapped the space between his brows. A purple-red thread was immediately drawn forth, arcing into a flickering curve in his grasp. "I've cultivated the immortal path all my life," Qin Shui shouted, his voice thunderous, refining 7 extreme realm roots and rising to the rank of immortal lord, slaughtering countless foes. "But never once have I battled the heavenly Tao." The moment the multicolored energy first appeared, it was as if lightning had split Qin Shui's mind. That curved purple-red thread he summoned crackled with a piercing hiss, emanating a force of unparalleled extremity. "Heavenly Tao," a deep voice echoed from the rift, followed by a low chuckle. Judging by the laughter, the speaker did not sound old. "To those of you who are bound by the ceiling boundary," the voice continued, "I am your heavenly Tao. The moon-gazing beast, the 2 ancient gods, and you, with your Xun'er-like power, will all come with me today, to where the heavenly Tao resides. Consider it your fate." A fierce gleam shone in Qin Shui's eyes. As the multicolored energy swept over him, he shot forward. The arc of purple-red thread in his hand flashed, weaving through the tide of energy. Explosive crackles erupted all around him as he tore a path through the chaotic mist. Wang Lin, too, was engulfed by the multicolored aura. A boundless sealing force radiated from it, rendering him unable to retreat. Murderous intent flared in his eyes. With a shake of the god's-laying spear, he growled, "Shatter." With a thunderous roar, the 100 zhang spear's front 10 zhang suddenly exploded, transforming into a violent storm that surged toward the multicolored energy. The moon-gazing beast's howls grew more frenzied. It struggled madly as the multicolored energy engulfed its body, making it shine from afar like a radiant multicolored dawn. Yet beneath that dazzling brilliance, its roars were laced with agony and despair. The beast's massive body was already half-dragged into the rift and still being pulled in relentlessly. Under the overwhelming pressure of the multicolored energy, it had lost all resistance. Its struggles only conveyed a deep, helpless fear. Each anguished roar from the moon-gazing beast stabbed into Luo Chen's heart. The two were already one. As he charged forward, clarity returned to his eyes. Between his brows, 5 star marks rotated, and with a sudden crack, one shot out and shattered. Ancient God Star shattering. As the star exploded, an uncontrollable force erupted through the void. The self-destruction of that single ancient God Star unleashed a cataclysmic surge. But just as the energy was about to scatter completely, Luo Chen inhaled sharply. With that one breath, the entire force of the shattered star surged into his mouth. Agonized roars spilled out as his body suddenly expanded wildly, from 300 to over 700 zhang in an instant, like a divine titan. With a single step, he broke free of the multicolored energy. In a blink, he appeared before the rift, his massive fist slamming forward. At that moment, one of the 4 remaining star marks between his brows shattered as well. The 4th star's shattering channeled an unimaginable power straight into his right arm, unleashing a blow at the peak of his might. As the punch landed, a chorus of elephant roars erupted. 10 phantom colossal elephants materialized, charging forward with furious bellows. Boom, boom, boom. In that instant, the entire void quaked with resounding blasts. The noise was so intense that even Wang Lin felt a stabbing pain in his ears. Beneath his feet, the void trembled as if swept by a titanic storm. From above, one could see that within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles, the void was torn open, layer after layer of flickering nets stretched across the air in a dazzling web of destruction. Even the colorful energy surrounding Wang Lin and Qin Shui's bodies was being swept away and scattered at this moment. As for the crack that devoured the moon gaze, it was immediately torn apart by a single punch, and the colorful energy within it was pulled back, revealing a blurry figure hidden inside the vibrant aura. In an instant, the figure was fully exposed before the three of them. It was a young man who appeared rather ordinary, yet his gaze was as cold as ice. Especially the mark on his forehead, which bore a crescent moon. He coldly swept his eyes over Wang Lin and the others. Unmoved by Luo Chen's punch, which was almost at its peak, he casually raised his right hand and grasped forward, calmly saying, "Open the devouring array of the ceiling boundary's 99 arrays." As soon as the words left his mouth, a rapidly spinning vortex appeared in front of him. The vortex was pitch black, resembling an enormous mouth that could devour anything. It immediately extended outward, swiftly engulfing Luo Chen's punch. However, it was clear that this vortex alone couldn't dissipate Luo Chen's ancient god power. After swallowing the punch, the swirling mouth emitted a deafening rumble, and soon after, it collapsed. The young man's expression changed, and he stepped back a few paces. With both hands forming seals, he shouted, "Ninth array of the ceiling boundary, the sky-opening formation, activate." At that moment, the young man bit his tongue, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Immediately, crystalline lights began to condense silently within the crack before him, rapidly forming into a massive axe. As soon as the axe appeared, an overwhelming pressure that could shake the heavens and earth radiated outwards, and large areas around them began to collapse. With a flash, the giant axe shot toward Luo Chen, colliding violently with his punch. The sound of booming earth-shattering clashes rang out, as the axe shattered, and Luo Chen coughed up blood, staggering backwards several steps before charging forward again. At that moment, the third ancient god star in his forehead shattered. The fragmentation of the third star erupted into a storm that surrounded Luo Chen's body. His stature, now towering over 1,000 feet, transformed him into a true ancient god giant. Although his body didn't yet reach its peak form, the power he wielded was unimaginable. Wang Lin's eyes flickered. If Luo Chen fell today, he would be in grave danger. Clenching his teeth, he took a step forward. The 4 stars power of the ancient god royal clan erupted within him. Without hesitation, he threw the god-slaying spear from his hand. With his thumbs and index fingers touching, forming a diamond shape, he pressed forward. A flashing diamond light merged with the god-laying spear, piercing through the crack and heading straight for the young man. Qing Shui also didn't hesitate. His hands formed seals as 7 arc-shaped extreme realm threads appeared, connecting together, shimmering forward at lightning speed. Luo Chen roared, his body towering 1,000 feet tall, fist clenched. His eyes were clear, radiating an aura of fearlessness as he struck forward. The 3 of them unleashed their peak attacks, causing the young man to panic. His pupils constricted, and in that instant, a withered hand suddenly appeared and landed on his shoulder, pulling him backward. A white-haired elder stepped out, standing before the young man. "Master!" the young man called out. Just as he spoke, the elder barked, "Shut up. Who gave you the right to open the ceiling boundary on your own?" The elder immediately raised his hands, forming seals. His eyes gleamed with intensity as he said in a deep voice, "I summon the 9th array spirit, the sky-opening axe." The moment the elder's words left his mouth, countless crystal points suddenly appeared within the void, spanning tens of millions of miles. These crystal points shot toward Wang Lin and the others at an overwhelming speed, faster than the peak strikes of the 3. The entire void seemed to light up. What was once pitch black was now filled with threads of crystalline light. Within a split second, these lights formed into a massive battle axe, around 100 feet long. This axe, composed of crystal points, radiated a primal energy, exuding an oppressive pressure as it descended. The battle axe appeared before the elder, directly confronting the peak strikes of Wang Lin and the others. Boom, boom, boom. The sounds of explosive impacts reverberated throughout the air. Qin Shui vomited a mouthful of blood and was thrown backward. Wang Lin's body trembled. Cracks appeared on his skin as the 4 ancient god stars in his forehead spun rapidly, trying to counter the unimaginable recoil force. He too was sent flying back. Luo Chen's body began to shrink, and the shattered star power rapidly dissipated. His eyes filled with sorrow as he looked at the sky-opening axe and shouted, "Wang Lin, do you know of its existence in your inheritance? This is a sacred artifact of my ancient god clan." The heaven-splitting axe struck with a resounding bang, shattering into countless crystalline lights that spread across the surrounding cracks. These lights quickly repaired the vast, fragmented flickering net. The elder outside the net revealed a strange glint in his eyes. With a wave of his hand, the countless crystal lights swirled and transformed into 3 massive hands. One grabbed onto Mu Hao and jerked him violently, pulling him outside the net. Another hand reached for Luo Chen, who, in his current state, had no strength to resist. The third crystalline hand sped toward Wang Lin. In that instant, a decisive look appeared in Luo Chen's eyes, as if he had made a resolution. Just before the hand reached him, he raised his right hand to his forehead and tore out the last two ancient god stars, laughing bitterly as he hurled them toward Wang Lin. His gaze toward Wang Lin was filled with an unprecedented softness, as if he were an elder watching his own child. Your adult challenge was remarkable. My infant child is not as capable as you. In the ancient god clan, every child receives a gift after their adulthood challenge. These two ancient stars are my gift to you. Luo Chen's voice carried a hint of both relief and sorrow as he gazed into the void, his body being dragged outside the net by the massive hand. Ancient God. Ancient God. You defy the heavens, but cannot escape fate. I, Luo Chen, am not an ancient god, but a lone god. Luo Chen's life was one of defying the heavens, fearless of the world. Yet in the end, he could not escape his own fate. That fate was Mu Hao. Having been assimilated by Mu Hao, Luo Chen's ancient god power was absorbed, causing him to fall from the peak of the 8-star level into an infant state. This was fate that could not be changed, leading to a tragic state where he was neither human nor ghost, living for countless years inside Mu Hao. With the pride of an ancient god, the humiliation he endured in his heart was reflected in his mournful words, filling the air with endless desolation. The ancient gods were the proudest and most supreme clan in this world. Their pride allowed no defilement, and 2C was no exception, nor was Luo Chen. Wang Lin stood in silence, a profound sorrow rising within him, but respect appeared in his eyes. He respected the ancient god Luo Chen. At this moment, the void began to howl as the two ancient god stars sped toward Wang Lin at incredible speed. The moment they reached him, Wang Lin grasped them with his hand, and the ancient god stars fused into his body. In that instant, an unimaginable force of ancient god power erupted within Wang Lin. The power was so overwhelming that Wang Lin's body began to tremble. The booming sounds reverberated inside him as his body rapidly expanded, growing to over 300 feet tall. Veins bulged out, pain surged through his body as if some force was trying to tear him apart. In agony, Wang Lin let out a roar. This roar turned into an explosive sound wave, carrying the power of the royal ancient god, causing the crystalline hand coming toward him to momentarily falter. Wang Lin could clearly feel that as the two ancient god stars merged with him, a storm seemed to brew inside his body. Countless ancient god powers erupted, spreading throughout every inch of his being. This power felt as though Wang Lin's true form had absorbed countless years of energy from thousands of planets. His body was on the brink of collapse from the impact of this power. The tearing sensation almost drove him mad, and a series of furious roars erupted from him, as if he were filled with a violent impulse. At the center of his forehead, the stars began to spin rapidly, and even the number of stars could no longer be discerned. In the midst of his roar, Wang Lin took a step forward and punched with all his might. His fist struck with tremendous force, causing a massive wave that rolled back the void in front of him. It was as though the void had been forcibly torn open, creating a storm of power that swept across the area. The crystalline hand, having faltered, was immediately struck by the shockwave from Wang Lin's punch. With a deafening sound, his fist collided with the hand, causing an explosion. Boom, 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 boom. The continuous crashing sounds echoed, and the collision sent shockwaves scattering in all directions, as if destroying the heavens and the earth. The crystalline hand was sent retreating. Wang Lin staggered back a few steps, his body calming. The pain that had been racking his body dissipated, replaced by a growing sense of comfort. He clenched his fist, as if he held the world in his grasp. Meanwhile, at Qin Shui, no crystalline hand came to grab him. However, his expression was strange, staring dazedly at the elderly pair outside the net. His eyes were filled with confusion, but more so, there was a hint of struggle. It was as if a hidden memory had been unlocked the moment he saw the scene before him. He felt an intense pain in his head, and the memory was ruthlessly opened. The flickering net within the void was rapidly contracting and restoring, and it seemed on the verge of being entirely resealed. The elder outside the net fixed his icy gaze on the massive figure of Wang Lin, particularly at the 4 rapidly spinning star points in the center of his brow, where a swirling vortex was also present. Points of crystalline light emanated from Wang Lin's body, coalescing within that vortex, causing the overwhelming power of the ancient god to surge forth chaotically. Especially within that vortex, a drop of black liquid appeared, flickering in and out of visibility. It's really a royal ancient god. The elder's eyes sparkled with brilliance. It's a 5-star royal ancient god that has just awakened. To think there could still be a royal ancient god within this sealing boundary. If this news reaches the Council of Elders, it will surely stir up quite a storm. Luckily, he's still in the awakening state. If he fully awakens and reaches 6 stars, even I would have to retreat in his presence. The elder gasped, his eyes revealing a dense greed. If I can absorb his royal ancient god power, I will secure a position in the Council of Elders. A crescent mark flickered between his brows. Gritting his teeth, he formed hand seals, causing the crescent mark at his brow to flash violently, transforming into a phantom crescent seal about 10 feet in size before him. I, of the primordial immortal clan's Moon Devourer tribe, have encountered the greatest opportunity of my life today. I will not let him escape. The elder growled as the crescent seal flickered wildly, darting forward at an incredible speed. Just as the flickering net was about to completely close in, the crescent seal suddenly charged out, rapidly expanding in the void until it had grown hundreds of feet in size, almost on par with Wang Lin. Moon Immortal devours God. The elder's eyes gleamed with ferocity, blue veins popping out on his face as they converged at the crescent mark on his brow, giving him a fearsome appearance. At the moment he spoke, the crescent seal launched itself toward Wang Lin, becoming almost boiling with energy. A strange glow enveloped it as it transformed into a massive full moon maw, crazily attempting to devour Wang Lin. From that great maw emanated boundless suction, which was extremely strange, manifesting countless threads that aimed to penetrate into Wang Lin's body. The speed of that full moon maw was so fast that it nearly arrived at Wang Lin in the blink of an eye, leaving him no chance to react. Amid the suffocating suction, in an instant, the maw closed, directly swallowing Wang Lin whole. In the void, there was no sign of Wang Lin. Only the colossal crescent seal rushed backward in the elder's ecstatic gaze, trying to escape just as the flickering net was about to close completely. The elder's long laugh was filled with exuberance. He did not expect to encounter such fortune today. By devouring this royal ancient god, I will have the cultivation to contend with the Council of Elders. With a laugh, the elder's body swayed as he charged toward the flickering net, extending his right hand to grasp the approaching crescent seal. In his mind, visions of how he would dominate the council and rise to glory in his own sect after consuming this royal ancient god flashed before him. However, in that instant, the elder's expression suddenly changed, disbelief flooding his eyes as every fantasy shattered, fixated on what lay before him. Within the crescent seal that had swallowed Wang Lin, a frenzied aura erupted. This aura was so dense that it caused the crescent seal to shake violently. Just before reaching the flickering net, a thunderous crash resounded as it suddenly collapsed. The crescent seal shattered into countless fragments that scattered in all directions. In that moment, the elder's complexion turned pale, and a pounding sound resonated from his brow as he spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes filled with a horror he had never experienced before, muttering, "Impossible." The crescent seal on his brow suddenly fractured, splitting in two. The elder stumbled backward. The black-clothed youth beside him was equally stunned by this abrupt turn of events, feeling dazed, unable to comprehend how such a drastic change could occur. Amidst the fragments of the collapsing phantom crescent seal, Wang Lin stepped out. At Wang Lin's brow, 5 ancient stars leisurely rotated, and the power of the 5-star royal ancient god permeated the surroundings. However, this was not the reason the crescent seal had shattered, nor why the elder had spat blood in injury. Outside Wang Lin's brow, there floated a pearl radiating both black and white colors. Heavenly Reversal Pearl. Just as Wang Lin was swallowed by the crescent seal, the Heavenly Reversal Pearl within him activated autonomously, breaking free from his control and suddenly shot out from his brow. In that instant, a strange force emanated from the pearl, and the crescent seal that had devoured Wang Lin offered no resistance as it collapsed with a thunderous roar. At this moment, the Heavenly Reversal Pearl was surrounded by swirling black and white colors. In the blink of an eye, these colors transformed into black and white energies, directly piercing through the flickering net and heading straight for the elder. The elder screamed, his face filled with deep terror. It seemed he recognized the Heavenly Reversal Pearl, and his gaze towards Wang Lin was filled with unimaginable fear. You are. His soul seemed to leave his body, and without thinking, he swiftly retreated in panic. The terror in his eyes reached its peak. However, his speed was too slow. The black and white energies penetrated the flickering net seal without obstruction. The moment they broke free from the sealing boundary, they expanded rapidly, increasing in speed as they surged directly toward the elder. In an instant, they caught up to him. No matter whether the elder could teleport or merge with the world, at that moment, under the black and white energies of the heavenly reversal pearl, all his abilities were rendered useless. As the black and white energies neared, they immediately surrounded the elder. His body trembled violently, and the terror in his eyes consumed him completely. His heart pounded so loudly that it drowned out all other sounds. Within this swirling black and white energy, a vortex formed in front of the elder. From within it, a hand stretched out, making a beckoning motion towards the elder's forehead. Above the elder's forehead, the broken crescent mark suddenly flew out with a loud bang, its bloodlines connected. As it flew out, the elder let out a tragic scream, his body trembling uncontrollably. A large amount of sweat poured out, and his veins bulged as though his body were about to burst. At this moment, Wang Lin was still shaken to his core, unable to control anything, let alone stop the actions of the heavenly reversal pearl. Seeing that Wang Lin did not stop it, the elder laughed miserably. The crescent mark above his forehead completely detached, bloodlines trailing as it was grabbed by the hand in the vortex, slowly being drawn back in. Blood mist gushed from the elder's forehead, and he immediately became listless. His eyes dimmed, and his body was violently thrown backward, as if struck by a powerful force. The young man in black looked at Wang Lin with fear in his eyes, especially when their gazes met. His was cold and crumbling, filled with endless shock, as he avoided direct eye contact. He staggered and rushed to hold the elder. The elder, struggling, despite the blood still flowing from his forehead, urgently said, "Retreat quickly." Without hesitation, the young man swiftly carried the elder and retreated. The vortex formed by the black and white energies dissipated as it spun, turning back into black and white energies. These energies pierced through the now fully closed flickering net and merged into the heavenly reversal pearl, disappearing from sight. The heavenly reversal pearl slowly flew towards Wang Lin, floating before him and coming to a standstill. The surrounding flickering net gradually faded as it was covered by the void, disappearing completely. Here, only endless darkness remained, and it was silent. As for the moon gazer and Luo Chen, they were cut off outside the flickering net, and, with the spreading void, they vanished forever. Qing Shui stared blankly at all of this. His immortal essence had been sealed by the strange forces in this place, rendering most of it inaccessible. As he looked at Wang Lin, the confusion in his eyes slowly turned into focus. Wang Lin's shock was no less than that of the elder who had lost the primordial mark. Now, looking at the heavenly reversal pearl before him, the arm in the vortex earlier was not unfamiliar to him. He had seen it when the heavenly reversal pearl first opened years ago. In silence, Wang Lin cautiously raised his right hand and touched the heavenly reversal pearl. In that instant, the pearl fused with his right hand, burrowing into his primordial spirit, and disappeared. In ancient times, there were people from the ancient era who cultivated the world, ascended to the immortal rank, and established the ancient immortal domain. The ancient immortal domain was the holy land of my immortal realm, the true immortal realm. Qing Shui murmured to himself, his voice soft, a hint of sorrow in his eyes. Master Bai Fan was one of the ancient people who achieved the Tao in the immortal domain, then descended to the mortal realm to enlighten the people. Master once said, the ancient immortal domain was the protector of all the spirits in the starry sky. If the immortal domain exists, so does the world, but if the immortal domain falls, all spirits are destroyed. He originally thought the ancient immortal domain would be eternal, but then one day, the towering ancient trees that supported the immortal domain in all directions collapsed, and the ancient immortal domain silently vanished without a trace. Even Master, after a lifetime of searching, could not find a single sign of the ancient immortal domain. The disappearance of the ancient immortal domain marked the collapse of the ancient era and ushered in the ancient times. From then on, the beings of this world were lost, immortals no longer existed, and cultivation became impossible. And then, qi refiners emerged. I, Qing Shui, was one of them, once the crown prince of the Qing Shui kingdom. However, even though the immortal domain no longer exists, Master Bai Fan and a few others who were once part of the immortal domain created a new world, and the four great paths that led to the immortal domain became their own territories, now called the immortal realm. The four great immortal realms of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning split the world and the starry sky into four parts. The wind realm had the cloud sea, the rain realm had Kungsu, the thunder realm had Luo Chen, and the lightning realm had Jia. And in the rain immortal realm, Kungsu star domain, it eventually changed its name, and what the world now knows as the Alliance was once called Kungsu. Qing Shui sighed deeply, his gaze fixed on the void as if he could see the thunder realm from years past. His eyes were filled with intense nostalgia. In the thunder realm, I met her. Wang Lin fell silent. His body gradually shrank, with faint thumping sounds emanating from within. Before long, his once enormous form of over 300 meters gradually returned to the size of an ordinary person. At the center of his forehead, 5 ancient god star marks circled, slowly rotating, exuding a sharp aura of ancient gods. At this moment, Wang Lin's true body possessed the power of a 5-star ancient god. He had now joined the ranks of the powerful. A 5-star royal ancient god, when unleashing his divine abilities, could challenge cultivators in the early stages of pure nirvana. If he returned to the starry sky, and the suppressed primordial energy within him was unsealed and merged, in the early stages of pure nirvana, only a few could defeat Wang Lin. He was nearly invincible. Clenching his fist, Wang Lin for the first time truly felt the strength within him. His expression remained calm as he quietly gazed at Qing Shui, still not uttering a word. A softness appeared in Qing Shui's eyes, but it was immediately replaced by pain. He could never forget how, in his madness during a period of lost self, he had accidentally killed his beloved partner. This pain deeply gnawed at his heart, constantly devouring him. No words could describe the agony that felt as though it would never fade. The ancient era was the peak of my immortality. I clearly remember that this prosperity didn't last long. The 4 great immortal realms were plunged into a war of life and death over one object. Qing Shui hid the pain in his eyes, but it was evident in his voice. This was his torment, something he could never forget during countless days and nights of solitary meditation, a pain that could never be described. This war lasted so long that by the end, the 4 great immortal realms had suffered irreparable losses. Ultimately, at the war's peak, a figure emerged from the void. This person, according to Master Bai Fan's recollections, was someone from the ancient immortal domain who had vanished long ago. His arrival stopped the war. He held the decree of the ancient immortal domain, creating barriers between the 4 immortal realms, isolating them from one another. He declared that if the barriers were ever breached again, the ancient immortal domain would bring down its wrath and burn everything to the ground. Qing Shui's voice echoed as Wang Lin listened quietly. The 4 immortal realms were isolated from one another, and the war came to an end. As for the root cause of this conflict, the object everyone sought, I don't know. I only know that it was a pearl. Qing Shui glanced at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged, but his heart trembled. If I were to obtain that pearl, I would hide it carefully, never revealing it, and never letting anyone see it. It is far too important. Qing Shui murmured, a deep sigh escaping his lips. The war between the 4 immortal realms caused the destruction of many immortals, leaving the realms in their weakest states. However, during this time, an earth-shattering event occurred. A group of strange beings, calling themselves the Rune Clan, appeared out of nowhere in the lower realms of the 4 immortal realms. The divine arts they used were highly unusual, completely different from our immortals. Our immortals do not cultivate the heavenly Tao, but instead, we refine immortal essence and reverse the power of heaven and earth to our advantage. These Rune Clan people, however, condense their divine arts into paper talismans, similar to magical artifacts, to use in battle. The battle was fierce. In the end, our immortals emerged victorious, scattering the Rune Clan and enslaving many to become our servants. However, the 4 immortal realms were left in a worse state than before. Upon investigation, it was discovered that these Rune Clan beings came from the void beneath the starry sky. From here, Qing Shui pointed to the ground beneath their feet. Wang Lin gasped, his eyes flashing with insight. He had encountered the immortal remnant clan many times, but he hadn't expected that the Rune Clan came from this very void. Thinking of the 2 figures he had met earlier, Wang Lin suddenly had an idea. This void is not confined to the Alliance star domain, but stretches across all the star domains within the 4 immortal realms. Qing Shui sighed deeply, muttering, after the war with the Rune Clan, I began to show signs of madness, but at that time, I didn't take it seriously. As for the later events, you should have heard about them from Yen Lazy. Wang Lin remained silent for a moment, gazing at Qin Shui. After a long while, he spoke softly. Senior brother, the old man we met earlier claimed to be from the ancient immortal clan, the Moon Devourer clan. Qin Shui's eyes grew confused, and he spoke softly. That's something I'm puzzled about as well. The ancient immortal clan. I've never heard of them. Could it be that the Rune clan from that time also came from the same place as that old man, and they were also from the ancient immortal clan? Qin Shui's confusion deepened. I just find it strange. When that colorful mist appeared, I had a hallucination. I've heard that Master went mad and died after pointing to the sky. What did Master truly see? Wang Lin's eyes grew contemplative. A massive mystery seemed to surround them, hidden within the thick fog, its true nature unclear. In this void, both Wang Lin and Qin Shui fell into silence. The immortal essence within Qin Shui was ultimately sealed, gradually weakening. By the third day, it had already lost the ability to fly. Wang Lin supported Qin Shui, steadily moving forward in this void. Around his body, the immortal realm fragment given by Yen Lazy gently floated, emitting waves of soft light. There was also a strange connection, as if there was now a communication with the outside world, and under its pull, it led the way ahead. Holding on to Qin Shui, Wang Lin followed the immortal realm fragment. On the 9th day, Qin Shui was utterly weak. He gazed at the void ahead and the still-drifting immortal realm fragment, softly speaking, "Mystic treasure spirit, after I take the memories, you stay behind. His primordial spirit contains immortal essence. It will be very useful to you. Your temperament is so much like mine from back then. I hope you'll cherish it more than I did, because I no longer have the qualifications or the people to cherish." Qin Shui looked at Wang Lin, and what he saw seemed just like his younger self. The same coldness, the same killing intent, the same loneliness. On this day, the immortal realm fragment ahead suddenly flickered with golden light. It halted, and before it, a whirlpool appeared, surrounded by golden light. Within the whirlpool, there was an altar, where countless cultivators were sitting cross-legged. The sound of chanting echoed. Among them was Yen Lazy, smiling. His voice reached Wang Lin. "Welcome back. Volume 8, The Secrets of the Alliance, the Destiny Scroll, is about to unfold. Do you still remember the 13th? Do you still remember Yao Shi Xue and Ling Tianho, Tian Yunzi, as well as the many familiar faces? And that infatuated Zhou Yi and Wang Wei, who won the Dao Companions.